Hey guys, how you going? Okay guys, I've got something for you today. From Matthew Guy MP, charges must be laid under industrial manslaughter laws for the deaths of 800 Victorians because of the COVID second wave. Last 1 minute of my contribution to today's no confidence vote.
Acting Speaker. As I was saying before, there is no evidence to any of these points. It's a one-man show for 1/4 of the nation. That's how it was from the start, and that's how it is now. And that's what the evidence has shown. It's a one-man band, a vile, egotistical, self-centred, arrogant, out-of-touch one-man band. And this gang of 8 that has behaved in a lying, deceptive, criminally incompetent way have only one way forward, and that is that when this pandemic is over, the industrial manslaughter laws must be used to track down who is responsible for the deaths of 800 Victorians, and that person or persons, whether it's the current Premier or any of his ministers, must be charged with the death of those 800 Victorians under industrial manslaughter laws, because those people will leave a legacy in this state that is not about just economic failure, it's the death of hundreds of Victorians to which they are criminally responsible.
You tell them, sir. Wow. That's telling the government. And from Dr. Heath Motley, strict lockdown, you say? Massive crowds take the streets of Liverpool, England, hours before the region goes into strict Tier 3 COVID lockdown. Let's have a look. Oh, now it's going to decide not to play it for me. There you go. We haven't got any music or anything because, I don't know. But good on them. And so they should. Okay, and this from 3 days, 3 nights. Just a thought. When our friend says proof to begin 11/3, could one of the meanings be as simple as this? Such an overwhelming majority nationwide votes for President on 11/3 that the entire world realises how rigged it has been for decades against us. 3 weeks to go. And this one from Major Patriot. Oh my goodness. Benghazi whistleblower Nick No. 3 former CIA directors involved in keeping bin Laden alive in Iran. Moved him from Iran to Pakistan for Obama's trophy kill. Payments to Iran were related. And this I found really interesting. From Donald J. Trump. Stimulus, go big or go home. Wow. He's getting all these people to give the money back, I think. It's coming from big banks. It's not coming from the government, but it's directed through the government, I think. Okay, and this one from N1 Nasty One. Countries under the control of the British royal family are experiencing the harshest lockdown rules. Canada, Australia, New Zealand and the UK. This is not a coincidence. The Crown has sold us out to the UN and the NWO. They plan on sending us to re-education concentration camps. And notice how this his question was not answered. He was referring to internment camps built through Canada to detain Canadian citizens. You and I know what they're for, but the government wants to keep that quiet. You really think they're not being built in your country too? Let's have a look.
Supplementary question. Again, back to the Premier. Here's the RFP, and in the RFP it uses clear language to express that these camps can be used for a broad spectrum of people, not limited to travellers. Indeed, it doesn't even mention international travellers. It's just a broad latitude of people. And I'll send over the copy of the RFP after. So your government must be in negotiations and aware of these plans to potentially detain and isolate citizens and residents of our country and our province. So, Speaker, to the Premier, where will these camps be built? How many people will be detained? And for what reasons can people be kept in these isolation camps? And I'd like to have the Premier assure the people of Ontario.
Member, take a seat. The next question.
Oh dear. He didn't even answer the question. Oh wow, that's pretty sad. So, okay. What we're facing right now is they've got less than 3 weeks to go. Okay? And the DS, Deep State, are going to push as hard as they can. Do not be surprised if we get taken down. I'm serious. I'm really, really serious. I think it might happen. From Dr. Russell McGregor. Watching the endgame strategy of the White Hats is an awesome and inspiring experience. Everything has been set up to coincide in these last few days of the campaign. If you can't see it, you aren't looking hard enough. An avalanche is about to hit and victory is at hand. And I agree with this very much. Even though I just shared the last one, we know that was what was heading this way. And this is why we're being shown, because it's being pushed hard right now. Be prepared. Okay, and yes, this. It's a House Intelligence Committee to hold virtual open hearing on misinformation and conspiracy theories, and they said it was dangerous, and it will happen on Thursday. So, let's have a look, see if I can... Oh, they'll convene a virtual unclassified hearing entitled Misinformation, Conspiracy Theories and Infodemics, Stopping the Spread Online. Conspiracy theories and misinformation narratives that prey on individuals' fears and uncertainties continue to mar the online landscape. Against the backdrop of a global pandemic and an economy in turmoil, a tumultuous, okay, I can see where this side one's coming from, and a tumultuous presidential campaign, there's an ample terrain for malicious actors at home or malign foreign operatives and governments abroad to exploit such tensions by stoking chaos and dangerous, even life-threatening untruths. Oh, here we go. In other words, they're going to take us down, okay? That's what I read out of this. Often they're homegrown and amplified by American voices. The propaganda and covert influence machines of foreign adversaries have nonetheless repeated and amplified them in service of strategic interests. And the committee will examine the intersection of divergences between different online conspiracy and misinformation narratives, the role of social media platforms in the proliferation and acceleration of such content, how foreign actors are taking advantage of misinformation circulating US online communities, steps that the US government and private sector need to take in response, and the implications for our social and political discourse beyond Election Day 2020. Okay, and that is Thursday at 1:30 p.m. And then you've got all who's going to be there. So these people are deciding for everybody. Okay, who are they from? Joan Donovan is the Research Director of the Shorenstein Centre on Media, Politics and Public Policy. Okay, he's about to be exposed. Nina Jankowicz studies the intersection of democracy and technology in Central and Eastern Europe as the Wilson Centre's Disinformation Fellow. In other words, she's a disinformation fellow. I don't know. and Cindy Otis, Vice President, Althea Group. Is a former CIA officer and an expert on disinformation, threat analysis and counter-messaging. Yes, of course. I think this is all, you know, yeah, you know. But yeah, I think they're going to take it down. So Brett Sutton says, reason we can't open like New South Wales, even with the same lower numbers, is because of multiculturalism, they're saying now. That is the Health Minister of Victoria saying that. Is it? Hang on. Is that New South Wales Health Minister? God, I don't even know any of them apart anymore. No, I'm pretty sure it's Victoria's Health Minister. Yeah, said they can't open, yeah. And Proud Old Soldier responds, I'm surprised it's not climate change. Okay, is it because of how many live together in one house? More BS than the government's modelling, or guessing? This is the basis of not opening up for fear of a third wave. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. And from N1 Nasty One again, research the Boring Company. Seems as though Elon Musk has been creating more space underground than he has travelled in the sky. But don't tell his investors in SpaceX or their stocks might drop. And from Dano, bit of a quick thread here. I'll admit that up front that I'm gut jumping with this one and possibly ignoring an unknown decode. There will be a lot of symbolism in this one too, so be ready. Here goes. This is from Dano, Snarkish Dano. Mega Medium 2 posted this today in reference to Kaylee McEnany. I can't say it. God. McEnany post. Oh, I'm Irish and I've got a Mac name and I can't say it. McEnany. Post with the clock. 3:16 on the clock, but below the clock and not so visible was a single lantern. There's more than the clock, Lexington Concord. And then tags people in it. There it is. The famous 1 if by land, 2 if by sea lanterns. The lantern from the Old North Church in Boston on the left is the official but not the original. The real lantern on the right is kept at the Concord Museum of Concord in Concord, MA. Drops will go fast. White House clean. Signal, marker, everything's planned. Years, message, unity, awakening, we fight, Lexington, Concord, stay together. Follow Bolton, clean, stage, learn how to archive offline, the streets will not be safe for them. Not us, them. Now, Kaylee put a ton of emphasis on today's post. Her clock has been the subject of speculation for a few days now. And she wrote, tomorrow my broken clock will make an appearance on Mornings Maria at 8:10 a.m. Eastern Time. Yes, there will be a new symbolic time, the most important time. No, it will not be 8:10. Tune in. But was it really the clock she was pointing out? Her previous 2 tweets, including the clock and the white elephant in the room, Keck, did not have the lantern. Easy to see in one, harder to not see in the other, but nothing on either. But for today, John 3:16 post that she stressed was the most important. We have a single Paul Revere lantern shown. Now remember this post from our friend back in April of the lanterns? Of course, this is referencing the poem Paul Revere's Ride by Wordsworth, I believe is who wrote it. 1 lantern if by land, 2 if by sea was the famous phrase we all know. So let's run with the 1 if by land. Of course, the reference is relating to the British advancing in the Revolutionary War or the War of Independence. There have been many drops regarding the War of Independence, and I think we are in the second War of Independence right now. So what threats could we be exposed to by land? Well, we know the southern border was closed by the wall. That helped keep the bunch of MS-13 thugs out of the country, and they were very obviously going to be foot soldiers for the cabal. What else do we have going on? Well, in the past couple of weeks, this has become quite prevalent in my feed. Go ahead and see how many articles are covering this even this month. And it's reports of Chinese troops amassing everywhere. Okay. And throw this into the mix for good measure. We know that there's a ton of UN equipment staged throughout the country. I said this to someone the other day. The reason you're probably seeing Chinese troops in Canada is because they're using Canada to go into the US. So if we assume that this is a friendly, hey, pay attention reminder to watch our northern border, then I'm all ears. I'm about 30 minutes from Canada where I sit, and on the main north-south corridor. Luckily, I'll have some 50 silver tips ready for my chick-on that decides to get jiggy. But is this all part of the plan? Yes, I think it is. And here's why. We know a single unifying event will happen. You don't get much more unifying than being directly attacked by another country. One that has already attacked us biologically, financially, and now potentially with direct force. But we all could forget our differences in a heartbeat to unite against a very common enemy. It doesn't say very, I just put that in there. Also, our friend has hinted a number of times that martial law will be enacted at some point. Many think it has to do with riots, but what if it's more to do with keeping people safe from the baddies roaming through the countryside? We have also gotten many hints to stock up and be prepared for a time frame of staying at home, snug as a bug, but no plans to go out. Just stay put for a shortish period of time, week or 3, and all will work out because patriots are in charge. Also, when you go to war with someone, what else could potentially happen, especially if you are the victor? Can you say debt cancellation? China being one of our biggest debt holders, after the Fed of course, which already has been wrapped into the Treasury Department. That's why you're seeing the stimuluses that I believe Trump was talking about before, saying go big or go home. He's giving the money they stole back to the people. Anyway, how about this being the perfect time to usher in that new monetary system while we're at it? So many things point towards this being a potential reality. It's hard to form it all into a single coherent thought. I welcome any of you to add things that you think of and see that go this way as well. Let me wrap up with this thought. Do not be afraid. If it happens, it's planned for, allowed for, and factored into the plan. Patriots are in control. Operators are on standby. We have the finest military in the world. Ain't nothing getting through. Thank you for reading my thoughts on this. I could very well be wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not. The pieces fit together too well. Okay. So that's just something to think about. Who knows? But we're seeing it all round. Stand up now, Victoria. Okay, and reminder, Dan Andrews is the highest paid state premier in the country who said crime doesn't pay. Why do you see this? He's worth $91 million. So how does someone who's earning $450,000 a year amass a fortune worth $91 million? That's why he sold out to China, for the money. And from N1 Nasty One, whether you want to believe it or not, our ancestors were more intelligent than us. They had better tech, free energy, could create better buildings and create instruments that we can't create today. It's time we admit we are not the most intelligent that has ever walked this world. And I've said that we are not getting smarter, they're dumbing us down, and that we are not living longer, because I've just had a friend pass away. Well, it was someone I hadn't seen in 20 years, but I did like this person and just found out that they passed away earlier this year. And that's 3 people under the age of 50 who have passed away in the last 6 years, all in their 40s. So we're not living longer, and I don't think we're getting smarter. I think with the fluoride and everything they've put in the water, we are getting dumber. I mean, not, you know what I mean. We were, until we woke up. And the UK are revolting again. I don't know why I saved that twice. And this was bad news, Victoria. The omnibuses passed overnight. This must now be our time. This is a clear line in the sand moment. The reign of terror is about to go up a couple of notches. I definitely feel it. I'll announce something this afternoon. I'm waiting on the last piece of info. And I'm telling you, this is to show people. Because people are still saying, I stand with Dan. They see that and they go, well, they're not awake yet. And I know most of you are in Victoria. I'm not having a go at you guys. I know I'd be desperate to get out too. But I don't know. But it'll all be over by next month. On that early next month. This will all start to fade away. So with people saying the vaccinations are coming and all that, yeah, it's to show the people. It's to show the people, and it will disappear in about just under 3 weeks. Okay, from 3 days and 3 nights, more celebrity dog comms. There's been a lot of this. Dog is the inversion of God. Oh, often their pet child name or their demonic name. And Jennifer Aniston introduces adorable rescue puppy, Lord Chesterfield. I feel sorry for the dog. Oh dear God. Honestly, if I think of any of these people having animals, it scares me. I'm worried about the animals. Same as when they have children and when they adopt children. Oh, they adopt children and I just think now, that poor child. But this one, I think, the poor dog. Okay, and this from Cosmic Clearance. And we already know some of this, but listen to this one. It can be put on the death certificate on clinical balance of probabilities without even testing. So you can just put all deaths down to this now. Okay. From CJ Truth, the deep state will probably be throwing out a lot of disinformation as the truth starts to come out. It could be happening now. It'll probably look as half-truths, but the goal is to confuse and muddy the waters. Be careful what you share. We are the news now. Handle with care. And from Major Patriot, your government took your tax dollars and paid spies to infiltrate Trump's campaign in order to frame him and obtain an illegal FISA warrant. Obama knew. And then this from James Hershen. The CDC first said not to wear masks, then to wear masks, then masks were better than vaccines. Now new evidence shows masks are ineffective. I had a feeling this guy was going to be exposed. Robert Redfield. He looks like another doctor from a long time ago to me. From a handy book. Sounds like handy book. And he was supposed to be the doctor and coroner who was laughing while he was being interviewed. Okay. And this from Tim Cardella. Ray has one job, to stall and protect his criminal friends on the 7th floor of the FBI, and he's gambling that Trump loses and Biden gets in. then they will have won. We cannot let that happen. Vote. And from Tim Cardella says, both Ray and Haspel work at the pleasure of POTUS. He can fire them anytime he wants. He doesn't have to give a reason. Trump is a master of timing and optics. He's leaving them in place for good reasons, perhaps to expose their ties to the deep state. This needs to play out. Because what we're watching is the explanation for how all this happened. There's another one who's exposing. Because I wondered why Trump put this guy up. And now I think he's being exposed as well. Because first they said not to wear them, then to wear them, then they were better than vaccines, now they're not. Do you see how the narrative just keeps shifting when it doesn't work? And this by Keck YQ, SEAL Team 6 murdered by Obama administration to hide a secret, a $152 billion blackmail. Did I read that yesterday? I think I may have. Anyway, guys, okay, let me know what you think about all this. And then from the Gateway Pundit, the man who first fired shots behind Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha has been charged. So there you go. Video with Trump flags torched by arsonists near Portland. Oh, you kind of expect that around that area. But this is, this is just sad. Like, Biden's son-in-law advising campaign on pandemic while investing in companies that will benefit from it. Can't get any clearer than that. So he's advising the Biden campaign on what to do with the pandemic while investing on company. Oh, these people are just, wow. An epic. President Trump dances to YMCA after massive rally in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And Trump supporters drown out sleepy Joe Biden's Ohio speech with chants of 4 more years, 4 more years. Okay, now students cyberbullied by the teacher and may be expelled for sharing conservative content on Instagram. So this is where, this is just, people are being shown. And this one, report Bill Barr's unmasking probe into Obama officials concludes without charges. You know why? He's not the one to charge. Just watch. Just watch. He hands it to somebody else to do that, okay? Breaking shock video. Colorado Democrat executive says 2020 is political revolution. Guillotines mother effer killing random Nazis in the street. Well, you're not half insane now, are you? Yeah, and there's not much. I'm still waiting for that big drop. We're all still waiting. We're waiting now. But I have a funny feeling it'll be 2 weeks before the election. I don't know. A homeless man donated $1 to Oregon Historical Society after Antifa rioters destroyed the museum. My goodness. Good on him. Anyway, guys, there's not much. It's probably the middle of the night over in the US at the moment anyway. Because I'm making this during the day too. I will release it a bit later on. If any more news comes through the rest of the day, I'll get back on and record some more. But failing that, I'll leave it at that today. and look out because I might have a sponsor. Yay! And I think it'll be one you'll be interested in at least having a look at, I think. Okay, guys, let me know what you think down below, and I will talk to you very soon. Okay, guys. Bye.